I know this is a random video, but I have a great desire to claim this first before anyone else. Boruto has a new nature release. He hasn't shown it yet, but he has it in his arsenal, just like many other jutsu that he hasn't shown us. But I feel this is some of the more interesting skills he learned throughout the time skip, so I feel it deserves its own video. So before we get into it, be sure to drop a quick like. I'm not gonna lie, y'all been going crazy with the likes lately. I have nothing but gratitude for you guys, for real. So for this video, let's shoot for anywhere between 350 to 500 likes. That's the goal. Anything more, and I might I don't even know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, okay, I'm done. Let's just get into the video. Ever since Boruto was young, he always shown the ability to grasp the concept of new techniques and skills pretty fast, regardless if he mastered it right away or not. On top of having pretty much mastered 3 chakra natures in wind, lightning, and water, he also shown the ability to be able to use these natures in combination with each other, whether it's to make a jutsu stronger or create a new never before seen technique. I actually made a video talking about Boruto's most underrated nature release in water, and in that video I basically said his level of water style is way above average. To be able to create literal tsunamis, or if you want to stay true to the manga, then use lightning and water style together to amp the attack potency of his jutsu. I just think it's crazy. And it's even more crazy that he barely even uses that release anymore. Not because I think water release is just so powerful and broken, but I like how Boruto utilizes his jutsu arsenal. Whether he's combining different nature releases or using them tactically in a fight to gain an advantage. During the first 7 or so chapters of Boruto TBV VORTEX, Boruto has shown us a variety of new jutsu and styles that he now uses. We got shown a new Rasengan, a new time-space ninjutsu in the flying Raijin technique, and an entirely new fighting style with his mastery of Kenjutsu. So this is like an entirely new shinobi. During the start of TBV VORTEX, everyone couldn't wait for Boruto to fight again, because just coming off of a chapter where he just pulled out one of the strongest Rasengan in shinobi history and used his grandfather and second Hokage's technique to find and defeat Code, we all anticipated that he would show us even more of his new skills that he learned throughout the time skip. But until now, we really haven't seen too many new jutsu from Boruto. I mean, before I go on any further, yes, Boruto can use purple lightning, and it's been confirmed that he learned how to do it since part 1. But this is the first time we're actually seeing him really use it on his own accord. And the way he used it too, absolutely genius. I love how he encases the lightning around his sword like Sasuke to increase the attack potency of his sword slices. So he's shown us a lot so far. But what if I told you he wasn't done showing us new techniques? Well, I'm pretty sure we all know by now, during Boruto's training with Sasuke, he mainly taught him in the art of Kenjutsu, and increased his dexterity with a blade. He also taught him how to stream lightning through compatible objects like you see on the screen right here. Throughout the time skip, Boruto has had 2 masters, Kashin Koji and Sasuke. From what was shown, Koji was the trainer that truly took Boruto to the next level, and for good reason too. His job was easy because he already knew the techniques and jutsu that Boruto knew in the future. All he had to do was teach it to Boruto prematurely to increase the efficiency of his training. So yeah, going off this fact, Boruto probably learned more from Koji, but objectively, Sasuke should have been the better master for Boruto. Maybe impactful is a better word to use in this case. I don't know, I'm not really here to compare his masters. But one thing we know about Sasuke that we don't know about Koji is if he taught Boruto any of his ninjutsu and skills. The only technique of Koji's that we wonder if he taught Boruto is Sage Mode. To be honest, that's the most useful technique in Koji's arsenal that Boruto could benefit from learning. Of course, he has other useful techniques, but according to the current narrative and direction of the story, just being objective here, Sage Mode is the most useful, especially if your main villains originate from the Ten Tails, which one of his weaknesses has been confirmed to be nature energy. But anyway, we know Sasuke trained Boruto for 1 year after they left the village. And in that year, he was able to teach Boruto almost all the moves and methods that he knows. He then went on to call Boruto a genius and tells him that he really has nothing else to teach him. All he needs to do now is keep honing his skills in mind. So if we think about it, if Sasuke feels he has nothing left to teach Boruto, then what are the odds that Sasuke taught him one of his most basic jutsu in Fire Release? I think the odds are pretty high, especially if he already learned how to use techniques similar to Chidori's stream. And with Firestyle, he doesn't always have to use it as an offensive attack against his enemies. Because I know Firestyle doesn't have the greatest track record when it comes to being able to easily overpower enemies. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's been a little disappointing as of late. But even knowing this, I still feel it would be pretty damn cool to see Boruto use Firestyle. One of my favorite ways I've seen Sasuke use Firestyle is to increase the temperature in the atmosphere to create thunderclouds. He then used this change in weather to use kidding. Kidding is also another possible technique that he taught Boruto. It would be one of the most useful techniques he could possibly learn right now. Going up against MOMOSHIKI, Sasuke used this technique because it's damn near unavoidable, hitting the ground in 1 in 1,000th of a second. And what's even better is it cannot be absorbed because it draws natural lightning to supplement the power of his strike. He only uses Chakra to control the lightning and guide it to the enemy. And the technique doesn't even take up a lot of Chakra. The pros definitely outweigh the cons. It's unfortunate that Sasuke couldn't teach Boruto the Chidori because of him not having a Sharingan, but we obviously see alternatives have been made, like Purple Lightning. However, kidding is different. It's a stationary technique, which means the Sharingan isn't an absolute requirement to use the jutsu properly. So if Sasuke taught Boruto how to perform a move like kidding, learning Firestyle is definitely a must. And I really mean that. Without Firestyle, kidding becomes too situational to really rely on in a battle. And at that point, it's useless. Well, not useless, I don't know if that's the word to use, but the usefulness really diminishes. There's a lot of other ways Boruto could use Firestyle too. Of course he'll have his regular fireball jutsu, but like I stated earlier in the video, I really enjoy how Boruto very often combines his jutsu releases to amp up his jutsu and techniques. It just so happens that he has a chakra nature that is really compatible with Firestyle. His wind release, mostly through the war arc, we was able to really see how much stronger wind release can make fire release. Just fire release by itself is really no big deal, and not really video worthy per se, but when you can use it like this, it really becomes a gateway for more potential techniques in the future. Many times throughout the story, we see Shinobi combine different chakra natures to create an entirely new release. One of the most popular examples of this is the mixture between water and earth release to make wood release. Or better yet, water and wind release to make ice release. If Boruto can potentially have about 4 chakra natures, it becomes more of a possibility we could see something like this in the future. Scorch release, the mixture of fire release and wind release, or even Bora release, which is the mixture of fire and water. Those are just a couple I named, but there are for sure more. Most of the techniques that come from mixing different chakra natures are considered Kege Genkai, but there is a such thing as imitation releases. Releases that aren't as potent as the original, and usually aren't good enough to use in actual combat, but could be done and trained to a point where it can be pretty useful. An example of this would be when Sasuke was confirmed to have used Ice Release in the past. Without being born with the necessary Kege Genkai, he was able to create his own version of Ice Release. Of course not as strong, but still impressive nonetheless. So it is possible to still combine chakra natures without Kege Genkai. It's probably just a bit harder. Even when Naruto and Sasuke combined their fire and wind releases, it was technically considered Scorch Release. Neither of them have the necessary Kege Genkai, but it can still be considered Scorch Release by technicality. So that's another way Boruto could potentially use this new fire release to add to his arsenal. It's too many benefits to this for me to not deep dive on this topic. Actually, one of the biggest reasons this idea sparked in my head is because it might have been slightly foreshadowed in the anime. Now I know it may be an odd transition going from talking strictly manga content to jumping to anime content, but there's been a lot of foreshadow in the anime that's already popped up or could pop up in the anime sooner or later. If you're new to this channel, you probably don't know, but for guys who've been watching this channel, you most likely know how I feel about the anime and how it foreshadows future events that could occur later in the manga. I'm not gonna deep dive into that because I explained it numerous times. I'll leave a link down to a video I explain my reasoning to that, but looking back to one of the endings of part 1, we can visually see Boruto use Firestyle, and he's using it in a Sage mode like state. Now this could be nothing, but then again, you take a look at Boruto right now, and how he's in such close connection to someone like Kashin Koji, it really starts to make sense. Sage Mode, Firestyle, and both of his masters are known Firestyle users, and they both helped him develop ninjutsu. But besides the more solid arguments I had, this is another sign that Boruto using Firestyle could be coming. I just decided to put this one last because a lot of people will have a hard time believing in theories and elements of foreshadowing in stories. They just think too logical sometimes. They forget that the people that create these stories are human, and they think it can be cool if they leave subtle hints for the readers to catch on to, but only a certain kind of person will catch on. So thinking about it now, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of material there to make an argument that Boruto has already learned or will learn Firestyle in the upcoming future. But for now, I'm thinking that's enough for this video. I actually did a similar video to this, but it was for Sage Mode, and that did pretty good, so I thought I would do the same for Firestyle and see what happens. I think I also used the same ending to push my Sage Mode propaganda, and it worked out as pretty solid evidence. So if you like this video and would want to see more content like this in the near future, then don't hesitate to drop a like for your boy, comment, subscribe, as well as turn on post notifications so you don't miss another upload or when I go live for chapter spoilers or something like that. Let me know if you agree with any of the points I made in this video, or if you got any other points I forgot to mention in this video that could help me push my case. But hey, without further ado, I'll catch you boys and girls on my next video, and I'm out. Peace.